Introduction. Unlock the limitless power within your mind and discover the path to extraordinary achievement, vibrant health, and lasting happiness. Unblock Your Mind is your gateway to personal transformation. Inspired by the timeless wisdom of Charles F. Haanel and his work Mental Chemistry, this book brings forward powerful insights into the true nature of thought. For generations, these ideas have guided individuals toward success, and now they are distilled into a practical and accessible roadmap designed to help you take control of your inner world and shape your outer reality. As you release self-limiting beliefs and break free from the mental patterns that hold you back, you'll begin to cultivate a steady sense of confidence and inner certainty. You'll learn how to transform your deepest desires into lived experiences, face life's challenges with resilience and grace, and unlock the creative force that already exists within you. This journey is also about connection, building meaningful relationships, fostering harmony, and creating a life rooted in clarity and purpose. Unblock Your Mind is more than just an audiobook. It is an invitation to awaken the untapped power within you. The principles and practices you'll discover here are designed to help you reach your full potential, whether your goal is professional success, improved well-being, or a more fulfilling life overall. Dare to challenge the ordinary, embrace new ways of thinking, step into a life of transformation and endless possibility. Chapter 1: Beyond Positive Thinking. This chapter reveals a powerful truth. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are not random, they are direct expressions of who you are. At the core of everything lies energy, and thought itself is a form of energy. Throughout history, religion, science, and philosophy have focused more on the outcomes of this energy rather than its source. As a result, we've become familiar with concepts like good and evil, positive and negative, or God and the devil, while often overlooking the deeper causes behind them. True transformation begins when you reverse this pattern, when you shift your attention from effects to causes. By understanding and working with the source of your experiences, you gain the ability to consciously shape your life. Whether you desire abundance, harmony, or well-being, it all begins within. Countless individuals have already applied these principles, discovering how to bring greater health, wealth, and happiness into their lives. Their experiences demonstrate that life is not something that simply happens to you, it is something you actively create. Pain, struggle, and limitation are not fixed conditions. By refining your thoughts and aligning yourself with principles of growth and abundance, you can move beyond these states and access a deeper, more fulfilling way of living. Imagine guiding your life with the same clarity and control as a captain steering a ship or an engineer directing a train. This is the level of mastery available when you understand the true nature of the self. Your body and mind are tools, but the deeper I, your inner awareness, is the force that directs them. And it is from this place that true power begins. Source of true power arises within you when you realize your true nature. The most amazing gift your I possesses is the power of thought, yet few people know how to think constructively and correctly. By mastering this power, you can create the life you've always dreamed of. Most people let their thoughts wander aimlessly, focusing on selfish desires. This is the natural result of an immature mind. But as the mind matures, it realizes that the seeds of defeat are sown in every selfish thought. A trained mind understands that every transaction should benefit everyone involved. Any attempt to profit from another's weakness, ignorance, or need will inevitably backfire. This is because the individual is part of a larger whole, and one part cannot be against another. The well-being of each part depends on recognizing the common interest. Those who grasp this principle have a significant advantage in life. They don't boast or brag. They easily eliminate unproductive thoughts and focus intently on any subject. They don't waste time or money on things that don't benefit them. If you can't currently perform these tasks, you haven't yet made the required effort. It is still possible to begin, though your efforts will be directly correlated with the outcomes you obtain. I can be what I will be, is one of the most potent affirmations you may employ to strengthen your will and access your inner strength. Each time you repeat this affirmation, consider who and what this I really is. Strive to achieve a deep understanding of your true essence. As long as your objectives are positive and aligned with the universe's creative principles, you will achieve invincibility. Use this affirmation as often as you remember, during the day, morning, night, and throughout the year. Continue until it becomes ingrained in you. Develop it into a habit. It is best not to start at all if you don't intend to finish. According to contemporary psychology, we develop the habit of failure, complete and humiliating failure, when we begin something and do not finish it, or when we make a commitment and fail to follow through. If you decide to do something, do it. Don't let anything or anyone interfere. The I within you has decided, the die is cast. There is no more discussion. Start with small things you know you can control and gradually increase the effort. Under no circumstances should you allow your I to be overruled. In time, you will find that you can control yourself and, in turn, influence the world around you. People and circumstances will begin to respond to your desires without any apparent effort on your part. This may sound unusual, but it is not as strange as it seems. Remember, the I governs the inner world, and that I is a part of and one with the infinite I, the spirit or universal energy, often referred to as God. This is not merely a hypothesis or an abstract idea. The greatest schools of theological and scientific thought acknowledge this reality. Herbert Spencer said, "Nothing about the mysteries that surround us is more certain than the fact that an infinite and eternal energy is always present and is the source of all that exists." In a powerful address to students at Bangor Theological Seminary, Lyman Abbott proclaimed a shift in our understanding of God. We are coming to think of God as dwelling in man, rather than working on man from without. Science begins this quest, but it can only go so far. Science discovers the eternal, omnipresent energy, but religion identifies the power behind this energy and locates it within us. This is not a new revelation. The Bible states this truth clearly and convincingly. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the living God? Herein lies the secret of the incredible creative power of the inner world and the key to mastering our lives. Self-mastery is not about deprivation or self-denial. It is about becoming a channel through which the universe expresses itself. The universe constantly seeks expression and looks for the most active channel, where it can do the most good and provide the greatest service to humanity. To become that channel, we must quiet our senses, seek inspiration, direct our mental activity inward, and live in the awareness of our oneness with omnipotence. We must contemplate the spiritual opportunities available through the omnipresence of power, visualize the conditions under which these connections can manifest, and realize that the essence and soul of all things are spiritual. These mental activities belong to the inner world, the world of cause. The resulting conditions and circumstances are the effect. This is how we become creators. This is significant work, the highest form of honorable labor. We must regularly seek silence, for rest is the source of power. In stillness, we find the ability to think clearly, and the key to all success is thought. Like light or electricity, thought is a form of energy governed by the law of vibration. The law of love gives it life, and the law of growth gives it shape, expression, and vitality. Thought is divine, spiritual, and creative by nature, because it is an expression of our true self. For our thoughts to take form and express power, abundance, or any positive intention, we must infuse them with emotion. Feeling is what brings thought into reality. This is how we materialize our desires and achieve our goals. The essential question is, how do we cultivate the faith, courage, and feeling required for success? The answer is practice. Mental strength is developed in the same way as physical strength, through repeated exercise. At first, a thought may feel difficult to sustain, but with repetition, it becomes easier. Over time, it forms a mental habit than an automatic response. Eventually, we begin to think in this new way naturally. We become confident, certain, and positive thinkers. Last week, you were asked to relax physically. This week, the challenge is to relax mentally. If you practiced the previous exercise for 20 minutes a day, you should now be able to relax physically. If not, you have not yet mastered yourself. You are still being controlled by external conditions. Assuming you have mastered physical relaxation, you are now ready for the next step, mental freedom. Take your usual position and relax completely. Then mentally release all negative conditions: hate, anger, worry, jealousy, envy, sorrow, annoyance, or disappointment. You may think you cannot let go of these feelings, but you can. You do so by making a conscious decision, supported by intention and persistence. Many people fail because they allow their emotions to control their intellect, but those guided by intellect achieve victory. You may not succeed immediately, but practice leads to mastery. You must expel, eliminate, and completely destroy negative and destructive thoughts. They are the seeds that constantly germinate into discordant conditions of every conceivable kind. The quality of our thoughts is inextricably linked to our experiences in the external world. This is an inescapable law. It is this correlation between thought and its object that has led people to believe in special providence since time immemorial. Chapter 2: From Concept to Creation. After careful study, you will realize that every force, object, or conceivable event is the result of the mind in action. Thought is the mind in action, and thought is creative. People are thinking like never before, making this a truly creative era. The universe is rewarding thinkers with its richest prizes. Matter itself holds no power, it is passive and inert. The mind is the true source of force, energy, and power. It shapes and controls matter. Every form that matter takes is simply the expression of a pre-existing thought. But thought does not work through magic. It obeys natural laws, setting natural forces in motion and releasing natural energies. It manifests in your behavior and actions, which in turn affect your friends, acquaintances, and eventually your entire environment. You originate thoughts, and since thoughts are creative, you can create the things you desire. Here's the key: at least 90% of our mental life is subconscious. Those who cannot tap into this mental power live with a severe limitation. The subconscious can solve any problem if we know how to direct it. Subconscious processes are always at work, but the question is, will we be passive recipients of this activity, or will we consciously guide it? Will we have a vision of where we are going, avoiding dangers, or simply drift along? We have discovered that the mind permeates every part of the physical body, always capable of being directed or influenced by the authority that comes from the dominant portion of the mind. The mind that fills the body is largely the result of heredity, which itself is shaped by the social environment of past generations, acting upon the sensitive and ever-changing forces of life. Understanding this allows us to exercise our authority. When undesirable character traits manifest, we can consciously utilize our desirable characteristics and suppress the undesirable ones. The mind that fills our physical body is not only the result of hereditary tendencies, it is also shaped by our home, work, and social environments. We receive countless impressions, ideas, prejudices, and thoughts from others. Much of this is accepted without examination or consideration. When the conscious mind accepts an idea, it is approved by the subconscious, taken up by the nervous system, and built into our physical body. The word becomes flesh. This is how we constantly create and recreate ourselves. Today, we are the result of our past thoughts, and we will become what we are thinking today. The law of attraction does not bring us what we merely wish for or what others have. It brings us what we have created through our thought processes, whether conscious or unconscious. These are psychological facts, not theories or assumptions. The process of thought is simple enough for anyone to understand. We must clean our minds daily and keep them clean. Mental, moral, and physical cleanliness are essential for progress. Once this cleansing is complete, the remaining material will be suitable for forming the ideals or mental images we wish to realize. Imagine a magnificent estate waiting to be claimed: vast lands, abundant harvests, flowing water, and excellent timber. A spacious, joyful mansion filled with exceptional paintings, a complete library, luxurious details, and every comfort imaginable. All you have to do is confirm your right, take possession, and use it. Use it or lose it. This estate represents mastery of mind and spirit, mastery of practical power. This inheritance is yours. You are the heir. You can claim it, possess it, and utilize its vast riches. Power over circumstances, health, harmony, and prosperity are all assets on your balance sheet. It offers equilibrium and peace. The only cost is the work of studying and reaping its rewards. It demands no sacrifice except the shedding of your limitations, your slavery, and your weakness. It clothes you in honor and places a scepter in your hands. To attain this inheritance, 3 steps are necessary. First, you must sincerely desire it. Second, you must confirm your claim. Third, you must take possession. These conditions are not burdensome. You are already familiar with the concept of inheritance. Darwin, Huxley, Haeckel, and other scientists have amassed vast evidence that inheritance is a law governing evolution. Progressive inheritance gives us our upright posture, our ability to move, our organs of digestion, blood circulation, nerve force, muscular strength, bone structure, and countless other physical abilities. There are even more impressive facts regarding the inheritance of mental strength, what we may call human inheritance. But there is another inheritance that science has not fully grasped, one that lies beneath and precedes all their investigations. It is a point where they raise their hands in uncertainty, unable to explain what they observe. This divine inheritance is alive within you. It is the benevolent force that created original life, the living motion that arises from the divine essence within all creation. It originates life, something science has not done and cannot do. It stands above all other forces, supreme and incomparable. This infinite flow of life runs through you. You are its access point. Its attributes form your consciousness. Keeping these channels open is the secret to power. It is worth the effort. The great truth is this: the source of all life and power lies within you. People, circumstances, and events may suggest needs and opportunities, but the strength and power to respond to them are found within. Avoid false beliefs and build a solid foundation based on the forces that flow directly from the infinite source, the universal mind, of which you are an expression. Those who take possession of this inheritance are never the same again. They awaken to a power they never imagined. They are no longer timid, weak, hesitant, or fearful. They become connected to omnipotence. Something within them awakens, a vast, latent capacity they never knew existed. This power is internal, but it can only be received through use. Using it is the condition for possessing it. Each of us is a channel through which this power flows. If we fail to use it, the channel becomes blocked, and we cannot receive more. This principle applies everywhere, in every field, every endeavor, and every profession. The more we give, the more we receive. The athlete gains strength by using strength. The financier grows wealth by using money. The merchant sustains income through activity. The lawyer gains clients through results. Power depends on the proper use of the power we already possess. This is the truth of all power. Spiritual power is fundamental. Remove spirit and nothing remains. If spirit is everything, then the ability to express power, physical, mental, or spiritual, depends on recognizing this truth. Every possession is the result of an accumulated mental attitude, a consciousness of abundance. This is the magic wand that allows you to generate ideas, create plans, and execute them. You will find as much joy in the process as in the result. Now go to your room, take the same seat and position as before, mentally select a place that brings you peace. Create a complete mental image. See the surroundings, the buildings, the trees, the people, the relationships, everything. At first, your mind will wander. You will think about everything except your focus. Do not be discouraged. Persistence will prevail. But persistence requires daily practice, without exception. Chapter 3: Mastering Your Mind. You will gain a deeper understanding of your mind, the most remarkable instrument ever created. After studying this chapter, you will be able to use it to manifest prosperity, success, strength, health, or any condition you desire. Demands arise from needs, and demands drive action, which produces results. Evolution is constantly shaping our future from the present. Development occurs gradually, both individually and collectively, with capacity continually expanding. Success is based on the highest ideals, the greatest good for the greatest number. Violating the rights of others leads to regret and hardship. Goals are achieved through aspiration, desire, persistence, and harmonious relationships. The greatest obstacle is clinging to false beliefs. Inner peace and harmony are essential to align with truth. The receiver and transmitter must be in tune for intelligence to be received. The mind creates thought, and thought is creative. But this does not mean the universe bends to our wishes, it means we can align with it. When we are in harmony with it, we can receive what we are entitled to. The universal mind is vast beyond comprehension, full of potential, power, and limitless expression. Like electricity, its effect depends on how it is used. Thought, too, depends on the mechanism it is connected to. And that mechanism is you. Our faith and purpose must be constructive or creative in order to align with the law of our existence. To materialize our purpose, we need a strong enough faith to generate a powerful current of force. Science can examine this, yet the principle, "be it unto you according to your faith," still holds true. The individual's connection with the universe produces the results that appear in the external world. The brain is the organ through which this activity, thinking, is carried out. Consider this marvel. Do you enjoy books, music, or flowers? Do you find inspiration in the creativity of old or new ideas? Remember, before you can truly appreciate a work of beauty, every response you have to it must have a corresponding counterpart within your own mind. The brain is capable of expressing every virtue and principle found in nature's storehouse. It is a universe in embryonic form, capable of evolving as needed. Understanding this as a scientific fact, one of nature's remarkable laws, helps explain the mechanism behind these extraordinary results. The nervous system can be compared to an electrical circuit. Its white matter acts like insulated wires, allowing currents to flow, while its cells serve as batteries that provide force. All impulses and desires are transmitted through these pathways. The spinal cord is the primary channel carrying information to and from the brain. It also plays a vital role in energizing and strengthening the body through the circulation of blood in arteries and veins. The entire body is supported by this intricate structure, and its delicate outer covering forms a mantle of beauty. Thus, the individual self is in command, and this body is the temple of the living God. The outcome depends on our understanding of this controllable mechanism. Brain cells respond to each thought. At first, the substance directed by the mind may not respond, but with focused and refined thinking, it will eventually align and express itself clearly. Any part of the body can be influenced by mental activity, allowing us to remove negative conditions. A clear understanding of the laws governing the mental world is invaluable, especially in business, because it sharpens discernment and enhances clarity in evaluating facts. The person who looks inward rather than outward gains access to the powerful forces that shape their life, bringing them into harmony with everything that is stronger, better, and more desirable. Attention, or concentration, is perhaps the most fundamental and important aspect of mental development. When properly directed, its possibilities are so remarkable they may seem unbelievable to the untrained mind. Developed attention is the hallmark of every successful individual. It is one of the greatest skills anyone can acquire. To understand its power, imagine a magnifying glass focusing the sun's rays. When the rays are scattered, they produce little effect, but when focused on a single point and held steady, they create visible results. The same principle applies to thought. When thoughts are scattered, they produce little impact, but when focused through sustained attention on a single purpose, they become powerful and nothing becomes impossible. As an exercise, try focusing your attention on a single goal for 10 minutes. Many find this difficult because the mind tends to wander, requiring constant redirection. If you cannot maintain focus at first, do not be discouraged. Progress comes with consistent practice. Over time, you will overcome every challenge on your path to success. The only way to master this skill is through repetition. Try taking a picture with you to your usual seat. Study it carefully, observing every detail. Then cover it and attempt to recreate it mentally. If you can visualize it clearly, you are making progress. If not, continue practicing until you can. This exercise lays the foundation for deeper mental development. Eventually, you will gain control over your mental state, attitude, and overall consciousness. Successful individuals often demonstrate the value of staying connected with powerful ideas. A single idea can generate immense wealth, but only for those who are mentally prepared and open to receiving it. People are beginning to understand the fundamental principles of thought. They are recognizing the unity of all things and learning to harmonize with the universal mind. As a result, they multiply their outcomes and transform their circumstances. They discover that conditions and environments follow inner development. Knowledge precedes growth, inspiration leads to action, opportunity arises from awareness. Prioritize the spiritual above all else, and you will become a person with limitless potential for achievement. When individuals learn to channel the forces of the universe, possibilities become endless. Thought is the process through which we absorb power and integrate it into our inner consciousness until it becomes part of us. This is achieved through consistent practice of the principles outlined in this system. It is the master key that unlocks the reservoir of universal truth. At present, two major sources of human suffering are physical illness and mental anxiety. Both can often be traced to violations of natural law, usually due to incomplete understanding. However, the darkness created by centuries of misunderstanding is beginning to lift, along with the suffering it caused. The realization that we can change, improve, rebuild ourselves, control our environment, and shape our destiny is the natural conclusion of a mind that understands the power of thought. The power of concentration is the greatest personal skill one can develop. It distinguishes successful individuals from the rest. By practicing these exercises diligently, we gain control over our thoughts. Since thoughts are the cause and conditions are the effect, controlling the cause allows us to control the effect. People are learning the method of constructive thinking, transforming conditions and multiplying results in the external world. Understanding and applying the power of thought is the key to personal mastery and success. Chapter 4: Mastering the Art of Mental Creation. Humanity has always believed in an unseen force capable of reproducing all things and continuing to do so. This force may be called God and given personality, or it may be understood as the spirit or essence that permeates everything. For the individual, the result is the same regardless of interpretation. The objective, tangible, and perceptible aspect of life is the physical body, composed of brain, nerves, and sensory systems. The subjective element, however, is unseen, impersonal, and spiritual. The conscious mind represents the personal aspect. It is aware and capable of choice. The subconscious represents the impersonal. It shares the same essence as all existence, but lacks self-awareness. The conscious mind can make decisions and exercise willpower. The subconscious, while not capable of choice, has access to unlimited resources and can carry out complex processes beyond the capacity of the conscious mind. You may choose to rely on the subconscious and its limitless potential, or depend solely on human will with all its limitations. This is the scientific explanation for the extraordinary power available to you if you choose to recognize and use it. And comprehend it. This fourth section explains how to intentionally employ this all-powerful ability. 1. The act of creating mental images or visualizations will serve as the mold or model from which your future will be shaped. 2. Make the design clear and easy to understand. Don't hesitate to make it spectacular. Remember, you are the only one who can place limitations on yourself. Use the infinite as your source. Expenses and materials are not constraints. Create it in your mind. It must exist there before it can manifest anywhere else. 3. Make the image accurate and clear. Hold it firmly in your thoughts, and it will gradually bring the object closer to reality. Remember, you have the freedom to become anyone you choose. This is a well-known psychological principle, but simply reading about it will not produce results. It will not even help you form the mental image, much less manifest it. It requires work, persistence, and strong mental effort, the kind of effort few are willing to make. The first step is idealization, and it is the most important. It is the blueprint upon which everything is built. It must be solid and enduring. Just as an architect planning a 30-story building visualizes every line and detail from the beginning, or an engineer calculates the forces required to span a chasm with a bridge, you must see the end before taking the first step. When you visualize what you want, you are planting the seed, but before you plant, you must know what you intend to harvest. If you are uncertain, return to the drawing board each day until the image becomes clear. At first, the outlines may be vague, but over time they will sharpen. Shapes will take form, details will emerge, and eventually you will be able to create plans that manifest in the real world. Next comes visualization. You must observe the image as it fills in with detail. As clarity increases, the methods required to bring it into reality will naturally appear. Thinking leads to action. Action leads to development. Development leads to relationships. Relationships lead to opportunities. And eventually, materialization is achieved. It is widely understood that the universe itself once existed only as an idea before taking form. Our ideas evolve in the same way when we follow the principles of the universal mind. The mind at work within each person is fundamentally the same, differing only in degree, not in kind. An architect first sees a structure in the mind. That idea becomes a model, then a plan, and finally a completed building. Similarly, an inventor visualizes an idea before bringing it into reality. Consider Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest minds in history. He developed his inventions entirely in his imagination before physically constructing them. Instead of building and correcting errors, he refined his ideas mentally until they were flawless. As he wrote in My Inventions, he could perfect a concept without touching a single tool. Only when it was complete in his mind did he bring it into physical form, and his designs worked exactly as envisioned. If you follow these steps consciously, your faith will grow. This is the kind of faith described as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You will also gain confidence, the kind that fuels courage and persistence. This practice strengthens concentration, allowing you to exclude distractions and focus only on what matters. Thought will materialize into form according to natural law. Only those who elevate themselves into disciplined thinkers can assume mastery and act with authority. Clarity and conviction come through repeated visualization. Each time you revisit the image, it becomes sharper and more precise. The final outcome will directly reflect the clarity of your mental picture. Before anything can exist in the external world, it must first be constructed in your inner world. You cannot build anything of value, even mentally, without the proper material. But with the right material, you can create anything. Ensure the quality of your mental material. You cannot create something refined from something unrefined. This material is formed by millions of silent mental workers, your neurons, shaped according to the image you hold in your mind. Consider this: you possess over 5 million of these mental workers, along with countless reserves ready to act at any moment. Your capacity to think, and therefore to create, is nearly limitless. Your body itself is composed of billions of physical workers. Each one is intelligent enough to respond to thoughts and suggestions. While these cells continuously build and maintain the body, they also possess the ability to attract the elements necessary for growth, following the same natural laws that govern all living things. This is the law of attraction. It is through this quiet process that the oak tree, the rose, and the lily obtain what they need to grow and express themselves fully. The most reliable way for you to achieve your own development is to create a clear mental image. Build it internally, and it will begin to take form externally. You will be guided to act at the right time, in the right way. A sincere desire generates confident expectation, and this must be reinforced with a firm will. These three elements: sincere desire, feeling; confident expectation, thought; firm will, action, inevitably lead to achievement. Feeling gives life to thought and will sustain it until it manifests through the law of growth. It is remarkable that human beings possess such immense power, yet remain largely unaware of it. For generations, people have been taught to seek power outside themselves, looking everywhere except within. When this inner power does appear, it is often labeled as something supernatural. Today, however, many are beginning to recognize this force and are making conscious efforts to direct their lives. Yet many still struggle. Why? Because they remain focused on the external. They desire money, power, health, and abundance, but they do not realize these are effects that only appear when the cause is understood. Those who do not focus on the external world will instead seek only truth, and in doing so, they will pursue wisdom. Through wisdom, they will discover the source of all power, the power that originates in thought and purpose and ultimately shapes external conditions. This truth expresses itself through noble purpose and courageous action. Focus on creating a beautiful and abundant inner world rather than focusing on external conditions. Your outer world will naturally reflect the state you hold within. Understand your ability to create ideals, and those ideals will be projected into the world of effects. For example, if a man is in debt, he continually returns to thoughts of that debt. Since thoughts are causes, he unconsciously reinforces the condition, ensuring it persists or even worsens. In this way, he activates the same principle often associated with the law of attraction, drawing further limitation and loss through persistent focus on scarcity. So what is the correct principle? Create a mental sense of abundance. Envision strategies, ideas, and conditions aligned with prosperity. Imagine the circumstances that flow from abundance. From this, manifestation will follow. If the same law can attract poverty, limitation, and fear to those who constantly dwell on them, then it can equally attract abundance and prosperity to those who consistently hold thoughts of strength, confidence, and courage. One common difficulty for many people is excessive tension, worry, and anxiety. We become overly reactive and feel compelled to do something immediately. This is similar to a child who plants a seed and then digs it up every 15 minutes to check its growth. Under those conditions, the seed will never grow. In mental life, many people behave the same way. They plant a thought but constantly interfere with its development. True growth requires patience. Once the seed is planted, it must be left alone to develop naturally. Action will become clear at the right time. The most powerful tool available to human beings is the mind itself, which, when properly focused, can solve any problem. Nothing is beyond the reach of human intelligence when directed with clarity and concentration. However, to use this power effectively, mental energy must be gathered and directed toward a single purpose. Remember, thought is the force that generates the steam, that turns the wheel of experience and shapes your life circumstances. Ask yourself meaningful questions, then wait calmly for the answers to emerge. Do you follow your inner guidance, or do you rely on external voices? Most people lead themselves blindly without reflection, rarely listening to their deeper intuition. Think of those who resisted progress, those who opposed innovations such as the steam engine, the automatic loom, and other advancements. History shows how resistance to change often comes from misunderstanding. For this week's exercise, visualize a friend clearly in your mind. See them exactly as you last remember them, the room, the furniture, and the setting. Now imagine speaking with them about a shared topic of interest. Observe their expressions, see them smile. Then continue the interaction, tell them a story, and notice their emotional response. Watch their face brighten with interest or joy. If you can do this clearly and consistently, your imagination is strong, and you are making real progress.